What a busy day. Well, I'm very excited to tell you this. You've been asking every time for a couple months now since Wylie ISD, Wylie East High School in Wylie, Texas, suburban Dallas, Fort Worth, since Wylie ISD was caught at its Wylie East High School passing out, allowing four professional adult Muslim proselytizers to come inside of the school on World Hijab Day and pass out Qurans, hijabs, and Sharia law pamphlets. Since that happened, for days, weeks, and a few months now, every time this comes up, you have rightfully been saying you should pass out Bibles in that school. And I have agreed with you because the Bible is the truth, not the Quran. And nothing has been done at that school. Wylie ISD has not fired Principal Tiffany Doolin, who most of the parents and students at that school and others like myself who have been paying close attention, going to the school board meetings, being involved in this since day one, believe that Principal Tiffany Doolin is responsible for this at Wylie East High School and should be fired. Nothing's been done. And so after days, weeks, and months of you rightfully saying you should pass out Bibles, we are going to do that. We are going to be doing that. I'm going to be telling you details in just 1 second. It's Tuesday, May 19th at 8 a.m. in front of Wylie East High School. Do not miss this. Join us. And there's a link to donations that I'll be sharing with you through my social media feeds. It's already up on my social media feeds on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, AKX, and TikTok. So it's up on all of them. The link to donate if you want. We're close to our goal, actually, already in less than a half of a day, to buy Bibles, tons of them, to pass out to students and parents, particularly the students, so they can bring them into the school and pass them out themselves. They can do that lawfully and legally. Wylie ISD parents, Wylie East parents, and other concerned citizens and me are going to be all doing this. So we're doing it, and this is your chance to donate and or participate, okay? I'll share that in detail in a minute. I also, this is very important, tied in with this is a report that just came out today. It's widely been reported. Daily Mail got the first exclusive, then CNN and others. A group of nonpartisan government organization funded by donors has put together a comprehensive report of all the videos, digital evidence, you name it, of the terror attacks of October 7th perpetrated against the Jews, Israel, and Americans inside of Israel. And it's horrifying. I'm going to share details. It's important that I share details with you on that. And then after that, I will be sharing a short video of the president and founder of CARE, regaling, celebrating, satanically lusting and celebrating the October 7th terror attacks at a public Muslim event right after it happened. He was so happy. So you need to hear the horror, then you can hear CARE saying that, and then we're going to tie it into the representative from CARE here in Dallas-Fort Worth, who has spoken out at Wylie ISD calling us all racists and Islamophobes. We're going to tie that in with an article in the Star-Telegram in Fort Worth saying this is Islamophobia and all sorts of stuff that's been going on with all the events in Dallas-Fort Worth. The Muslims-only water park event, the Muslims-only city, the Wylie ISD Qurans and hijabs being passed out in the Sharia pamphlets, the Dallas Sharia court that they have, the Islamic Tribunal in Dallas, the illegal fake Muslims-only university, which is not allowed to be calling itself a university or college, in Richardson. It all ties in, and you have to hear it. It's going to be a nice connect the dots. All right, we'll get to that in just 1 second. This show is brought to you by IRSprob.com, IRSPROB.com, helping good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategy. Randy Martin's been my CPA and tax planner for almost 10 years now. Use him. He's incredible, and he's a good friend. All right, let's get right into it. The press release that I was sending out today, and I'll resend it out on the day before to all of our local press, is on my social media feeds, Facebook, Instagram, and X at Chris Crock Show, ChrisKr, okay? All my social media feeds, okay? So I'll just share with you this, though, from the press release. Just a few things, highlights. As you know, 4 adult Muslim professional proselytizers were allowed in, and there's no question that according to several students that witnessed the principal, Tiffany Doolin, seen here wearing a hijab 1 year earlier on the same World Hijab Day. 1 year later is when these professional proselytizers were allowed to come in. So she was looking on, according to multiple students, witnesses that were there, while the hijabs, Qurans, and Sharia pamphlets were being passed out inside of the school. She has not been fired. That's number one. Number two, a great wrong was done. Illegally, those professional proselytizers went in and passed out Qurans, one of them telling Marco Hunter Lopez. And by the way, Marco Hunter Lopez, who's been on my show he spent like over an hour with me, he was the student who exposed all this in the social media post. Marco is actually in Washington, D.C. tonight. I was talking to Marco and his dad as they were driving up. They're going to be testifying in front of Congress tomorrow. Listen to this. The Wylie ISD scandal that I'm talking about right now, they're going to be talking about this in front of Congress tomorrow. I will be airing excerpts of that tomorrow night. Marco's father, Marcos Lopez, will be joining me as one of the concerned Wylie ISD parents. You're welcome to join us. And here's the info on this event that we're doing, because you have rightfully been saying, why aren't you passing out Bibles? You should pass out Bibles. Yes, I would like you to come and join us. Here's the information. So there's your graphic. We're passing out Bibles at Wylie East High School, Tuesday, May 19th at 8 a.m. in front of Wylie East High School. And in fact, there's a graphic of where we're going to be right in front of the high school, okay? This is on my social media feeds. I'll be posting it every day all the way up till the event, Tuesday morning, May 19th at 8 a.m., right in front of Wylie East High School in that circle. We will be there. Join us. And if you cannot come but you'd like to support us, you can donate, because we're using all the money to buy Bibles and supplies for the gathering, passing out Bibles to students as they enter Wylie East High School. Okay? So we're going to be passing them out, and the students can take those Bibles in, and if they want to pass them out, they sure can. Student-led prayer, student-led religious activity inside of a school is legal. What is not legal is what Wylie ISD's principal, reportedly, Tiffany Doolin, allowed to happen, and reportedly she watched it, which means she blessed it. So this is going to do two things. We're going to counter the Islamists passing out Qurans, and we're going to counter with the truth. And inside of those Qurans were Shahada cards, which is how to pray to receive Muhammad. And here is a picture of that Shahada card in the back of the Quran. There's how you pray to receive Muhammad and become a Muslim. Well, as you know, on just about every legitimate Bible you can find, on the back or in there, they tell you how you can pray to receive Christ as your Savior. That's what we're going to be passing out. All right? So that is coming up. Join us. I want to share now with you the barbarism of October 7th in a brand new report from the Civil Commission, an independent Israeli women's rights NGO, non-government organization established in the wake of October 7th from the satanic Hamas terror attack. The satanic Hamas terror attack, I'm going to read you details that you've never heard before that are horrible. The first thing I want to say is this. You know and I know, and we remember, that a 42-minute video of Hamas GoPro camera and all sorts of security footage that was taken, particularly though the Hamas terrorists took the video to celebrate it and put it out there for propaganda. Their plan was to, with Iran, the plan of this was to get the world, the Islamic world, around to that to begin an invasion to take over and slaughter Israel and take over the Middle East and do from the river to the sea, which the terrorist Islamist jihadis, including what's his name, Mayor Mamdani and his wife, support, killing every Jew in Israel, wiping them off the face of this earth. I remind you that God says, when you bless Israel, I will bless you, and when you curse Israel, I will curse you. That's a promise. Now, I wish that 42-minute video that you remember Israel played to limited audiences that they personally invited in certain cities. D.C., I think, was one, Los Angeles, and I think in New York or something of the nature. I don't recall. That 42-minute video needs to be released to the world. It needs to be released to the world. I am very upset that they still haven't done it. I know it's painful. I know people want their privacy that are victims, but it needs to be seen. The satanic death cult of radical Islam must be exposed. Hamas is a satanic death cult, and you're going to hear, I'm going to read to you specifics from this story that came out today on the barbarism, October 7th, in the Daily Mail reported. I'm not going to go through CNN's and New York Post. They all did a version of it. The brutalism and the sexual torture and the mutilation of bodies is like a child in an adult's body, a satanic child in an adult's body doing vile things to women and men and children. After I read this to you, I'm going to play you a video of the president of CARE, a foreign terrorist organization rightfully labeled by Governor DeSantis in Florida and Governor Abbott in Texas, celebrating this. He loves this sick, satanic slaughter, rape, and torture of innocent Jews. Here we go. They had deliberately and systematically, the Hamas terrorists, defiled the Israelis. The terrorists shot their eyes, their faces, and their breasts, and even targeted the most intimate parts to destroy their beauty and rob their loved ones of a final goodbye. Women were stripped, bound, stabbed, shot, and burned. They were executed both during and after the rape amid an orgy of violence in which 1,200 people were killed and 250 taken hostage. Heads were decapitated. Pelvic bones were shattered. Even after death, sexual assault continued. A grotesque medieval obsession with sexual organs pervaded the crime scenes at the Nova Festival, which is where the the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps from Iran trained and used before those little, what do they call, paragliders to use for terrorism. They trained Hamas to do this, fly in there and kill these Jews at this Nova Music Festival, and also in the kibbutzim near Gaza. Kibbutz Be'eri, nails, sharp objects, pieces of metal and plastic were similarly embedded in a woman whose body was discovered naked and bound. On another victim, grenades were used. Men were sexually abused, in at least one case, gang raped a man. Satanism knows no boundaries with this Islamic radical Islam. Men were sexually abused. Victims were mutilated with body parts cut off, used to create depraved scenes, gleefully concocted to traumatize those who discovered them. The purpose was humiliation, not victory, says one of the first responders. Those taken hostage were assaulted in front of loved ones and young relatives, forced to commit sex acts on each other. You hear that? Forced to commit sex acts on each other's relatives were. An intentional, premeditated strategy of kinocide to destroy family units even after release from captivity. 10,000 photographs and videos of the attack, totaling more than $1,800 of visual analysis, went into this report. Testimonies, geolocation imagery, text messages, media reports, open source intelligence. The report finds the abuse was not isolated. There was a recurring pattern of rape, gang rape, sexual torture, mutilation, targeted shooting to the face, head, and genital areas, forced nudity, binding and restraint, genital burning, objects inserted into intimate parts, areas, post-mortem sexual humiliation, execution during or after sexual assault. Indeed, when Hamas led other terror groups into Israel, they carried Arabic to Hebrew. Listen to this. When Hamas led other terror groups into Israel, they carried Arabic to Hebrew phrase lists commanding victims to take off your pants, lie down, and spread your legs. This is to dehumanize, sexually humiliate, dehumanize, and torture Jews like Joseph Mengele and the Nazis did in the Holocaust. First responder remember victims coming across a bonfire of 5 or 6 bodies. Every 3 meters, another body. Gradually, skeletons, then body parts, heads, hands, a severed leg. First responders found aluminum cans, grenades, nails, blunt objects, rods, household tools, spike-like instruments inserted into genitals and other parts of the body. Nova survivor Darren Komarov hid in a caravan where she heard at least 3 separate rapes from the Hamas terrorists. She said, "I heard one rape victim where they were passing her around. She was probably injured, judging by her screams you've never heard before. It's between silence and screams, between pain and wanting to die, and after they finished, they shot her. You hear a bang and silence. This is not rape," she continues, "as it is usually understood. There was laughter. There were jokes. They were passing them from one to another, and it was done for fun." This is Hamas. This is who births and care is who birthed care and is the front group. Care is the front group for Hamas. And that's why Hamas's president and founder celebrated this, and you'll hear him in his own words on video saying how incredibly awesome this all was. That is who CARE is. That is why they are a foreign terrorist organization. That is why they are an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest ever terrorism fundraising case in United States history, the Holy Land Foundation in Richardson, Texas, right here in DFW, raising $5 to $7 million to kill Jews. Several people from the Holy Land Foundation went to jail for decades and are still in jail. CARE was caught on a wiretap with the FBI inside of a hotel room in Boston. It was Nihad Awad, the guy you're going to hear from, celebrating October 7th and the terror attacks. He loved them. He was in that hotel room saying we need to wage jihad, spread jihad, nonviolent jihad. We need to use the laws of the land, the freedoms of this country, and the media to turn this country against itself in the furtherance of radical Islam, which is what CARE is and what CARE does. After being rescued, this woman said that she saw the bodies of these women that were raped being passed around and laughed at. There wasn't a single body that just died normally. Every single one had gone through torture. A volunteer remembers the body of a naked man who appeared to have been sexually abused. His hands were clenched. There was grass and mud still in them, as if he had been on his stomach and was desperately looking for a hole to crawl into. Another Nova Music Festival survivor told how a woman was gang raped by terrorists, during which one cut her breast off. He throws it in the road. On the road, they're playing with it. A terrorist then shot her in the head while still raping her. Witness Roz Cohen saw a woman pulled out of a vehicle and raped. He stabbed her. I saw her convulsing and fading away, and then they raped her again, even after she was no longer moving. I saw them raping her. Yanni Sadin hid under stage at the Nova Festival and covered himself in the blood of a woman executed in front of him. When he saw another being gang raped, she screamed, "Stop it already. I'm going to die anyway from what you are doing. Just kill me." When the terrorists finished, they laughed and shot her in the head. One of the fighters took a shovel. We just put a death sentence on a man who did this to one little girl, Athena Strand. We just put a death sentence on a wicked, evil man. This is who Hamas is. This is who CARE celebrated and raised money for people like this to kill Jews and do terrorism in the Holy Land Foundation. At least we're a co-conspirator, unindicted co-conspirator in it. When the terrorists finished raping her, they laughed and shot her in the head. One of the terrorists took a shovel and beheaded her, and her head rolling along the ground. A male survivor was gang raped. A male survivor known only as D, who previously spoke to the Daily Mail, told how he was gang raped at the Nova Music Festival by the Hamas terrorists. They laughed as if I was their sex doll. I was completely naked. They did whatever they wanted to me. The sick, wicked Hamas, radical Islamists, Satanists, loved and celebrated raping a man. The evil knows no bounds. This satanic death cult knows no bounds. On Route 232, the main highway where Nova survivors tried to flee, first responder Yitzhak Itak came across a female victim who had been sexually defiled. She had 2 marks of binding on both hands, completely naked. The entire groin area was completely damaged. Amit Ezra drove down the highway searching for his sister and witnessed burned cars, bodies hacked with tools, girls without clothes. One dead woman was completely without clothes, missing an arm, shot in the head. Eden Wesley, driving to rescue a friend, found the body of a woman in a black dress who appeared to have been raped beside her husband. Half of her face was burned off, half wasn't. She had a bullet in her cheek. She was frozen in that position. In the kibbutzim, first responders in Biri found a naked woman with her ankle tied with a thick black cord. In parts of her body, the intimate area, nails were embedded. These are satanic children in men's bodies. Hamas. A second body found headless and naked was mutilated to such an extent that it was impossible to determine whether it was a male or female. In another house, they came across the body of a woman. In the room were knives, scalpels, hammer, axe, screwdrivers, tools from the household. All of those were embedded in her body. The body was completely mutilated. Hamas also made a strategic use of videos and social media to exert and intensify harm and to perpetuate, glorify, and amplify the atrocities they committed. Remember, CARE's founder and president celebrated this. I'm going to play the video of him celebrating it in just a moment. And then we'll shift to Dallas-Fort Worth and folks with Islamic folks playing the victim. And then CARE is their spokesperson. Let me continue on. In the morgues, women's bodies arrived with shattered pelvises, bloodied underwear, and mutilated genitals, including extensive targeted burn injuries. A forensic pathologist said adults and children were bound and burned with wire around them. Another said a young man's groin had been intentionally set on fire. But Noah Lewis, who prepared the bodies of female soldiers for burial, said all the injuries of all of them, the worst was deliberately shooting their faces as it crushes their beauty. And that's what Satanism does. That's what the cult of radical Islam and Hamas does. They destroy everything that is beautiful for the satanic cult. It seemed as if mutilation of these women's faces was an objective in their murders. When terrorists shot Yam Goldstein Almang, 20, in the face, they filmed her body with her brother's phone in an evil staging to boast they had disfigured her, a beautiful woman. Some women's head had been bashed in, with their brains spilling out, while others were shot so many times their heads were almost blown off. The same pattern of genital mutilation was evident among the young female observers killed at Nahal Oz base. For those captured, it seems there are no words to describe the prolonged sexual abuse that the hostages had to endure. Hostages were sexually assaulted, stripped, humiliated, threatened with forced marriage, forced to witness abuse, and in some cases sexually abused alongside or in front of family members. Two related minors were forced to perform sex acts on each other in captivity, undressed, touched by captors, and whipped on their genitalia. Others reported being forced to watch sexual acts to sexual humiliation inflicted on other hostages, including family members. Freed hostage Guy Gilbo Dalal, 24, told how a terrorist blindfolded him before asking if he wanted to make a porn film together and raping this man. That it continued through captivity is legally significant. It supports claims, they say, of pre-planning, operational tolerance, repetition, and foreseeability across units and locations. Now they believe this archive of war crimes documenting crimes against humanity and genocidal acts can establish a clear roadmap for prosecution. Amen. Know who Hamas is. Know who CARE who's a front group for Hamas. Know who they are. Now, in just a moment, you're going to hear with that. After that, I wanted to set it up with this horrific terror report that just was released today to the press. And then next, I'm going to play the head of CARE, an undoubted co-conspirator in the largest ever terrorism fundraising case in U.S. history. I'll play his video of him right after October 7th, totally just celebrating the satanic rape, slaughter, kidnap, and brutalism and murder of the Israeli and American people. First, I want to tell you that this show is, of course, brought to you by irsprob.com. Randy Martin, here's a picture of me and Randy and Ray and George. This is like a long time ago. This is probably about almost 10 years ago. That team is still together to this day, and they are incredible. They're taking care of me right now with my tax planning, with my taxes, and everything as a small business owner. Here is Randy winning the Longhorn 100 with his beautiful wife, Norma. And here's how you can reach out to them. They help good people with IRS problems, and they specialize in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. He is incredible. His team is incredible. They're the best. Go to irsprob.com. That's irsprob.com. Or call 214-214-3000. That's 214-214-3000. And the hat I am wearing right now is from Due West Foundation and Plumbing. My friend Jim Dutton, who hosts Texas Home Improvement in Dallas, Austin, and Houston, owns his own plumbing and foundation business. His father started in the 70s. And here they are, 60 years later, going very strong. They are the best plumbing and foundation company you can find in Dallas, Fort Worth, in Houston, and anywhere in Texas. They've done my house, everything in this house. Water heater, replacing pipes under my foundation, putting piers under my house, regrading my yard, doing root shields to keep the roots out from underneath my foundation. Everything. Concrete leveling, plumbing, and retention walls, you name it, they do it. Go to du-west.com. That's du-west.com. Or call 972-406-0912. That's 972-406-0912. If you want the best, call Due West, and they are my guys. And tell them Chris Crock sent you to both irsprob.com and du-west.com. Also get to tell you about my brand new roofer, Blue Ribbon Roofing, in just a few. But first, I want to tell you, I want to play the audio from the director of CARE. This is after all the satanic acts that they did on October 7th and all the stuff I read to you. Right after that, the first reaction publicly is the president and founder of CARE, Nihad Awad, at an AMP conference. It's called AMP, and it's the annual Muslim something or other in Chicago. Here he is just celebrating. He was so happy about that attack.
The people of Gaza only decided to break the siege, the walls of the concentration camp, on October 7th. And yes, I was happy to see people breaking the siege and throwing down the shackles of their own land and walk free into their lands that they were not allowed to walk in. And yes,
do you hear the crowd? They love this. Slaughtering Jews, raping Jews, sexually torturing them, mutilating their bodies, raping men, raping children, gang raping women.
The people of Gaza have the right to self-defense, have the right to defend themselves. And yes, Israel as an occupying power does not have that right to self-defense. Gaza became the liberation source, the inspiration for people. Gaza transformed many minds around the world, including people who are not Muslim. What kind of faith these people have? They are thankful. They're not afraid. And Israel did not scare them because they knew that their heaven is in Gaza. And if they would like to die, they will go to another heaven. That is the faith of the people of Gaza. And that's why Gaza and the people of Gaza were able to transform everyone who's watching. They have learned from these people. And those who felt bad for Gaza, they don't understand the equation. Those who thought that the Gazans are less than those who can help them, they are mistaken. They are mistaken. The Gazans were the victorious.
Nobody was happier than the head of CARE and the founder and the president than him. Nobody's happier than him that that Hamas raped, murdered, mutilated children, women, men, kidnapped 250 people, murdered 46 Americans, you name it, including keeping them in hostage and Sexual abuse. So that is why CARE is a terrorist organization, a foreign terrorist organization. They are a front for Hamas. And CARE also, by the way, Governor Abbott just won a lawsuit. CARE has been trying to keep all of its donors secret for years. And a judge just ruled that they cannot keep it secret, and we're going to get those records, and we're going to see who's been funding CARE for a long time. It's going to be quite telling. Now, I want to share something. This is a great citizen journalist. A woman named Jessica Saunders has put this together. She shared this with me and with tons of people. I'm about to play for you a man who, according to his LinkedIn and multiple published reports, the man's name is Faizan Syed, who transferred from, and I'm reading from Jessica's reporting, transferred from Missouri to Texas to the DFW area several years ago as CARE's executive director of DFW in Austin. And he emphasized his goals as he sought to, quote, empower the Muslim community. He said, quote, according to Jessica, Texas is the second largest state in the union. The Muslim community is one of the largest in America and is rapidly growing. What happens in Texas state legislature and their education system directly impacts dozens of other states. So that's where people say that they think the Islamization is targeting Texas. Well, it looks like he's saying that in his own words, according to Jessica's reporting. Quote, he said, to train those Muslims of our community and our background who are going to go into these fields, go into these positions of power, and break the hold that Zionists, I am a Zionist. Any Christian who follows the Bible and supports Israel, because God says if you bless Israel, I'll bless you. If you curse Israel, I will curse you. Any Christian who supports that, anyone who supports the state of Israel is a Zionist. That is not a bad term. That's a term to be proud of. I am a Zionist. He says to train most of these Muslims in our community and background who are going to go into these fields, go into these positions of power and break the Zionist hold on this country. Jessica's reporting says. He said, it is a systematic approach. It is a long-term approach, but one has been started. There's no way to stop it. There you go. Break the hold that the Zionists have. It's the Jews, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. Just like a good Islamist says, it's always the Jews. Well, he spoke out at Wylie ISD at the last board meeting when I was there, and Jessica was there, and a lot of parents and students were there that are against the Islamization of Wylie ISD. He spoke out. He didn't tell us he was supposedly the head of CARE for DFW and Austin, according to his own public profiles and such. But Jessica shared this video with me, and I've shared it with you before, but you need to see it. Remember what CARE said. Remember the head of CARE. He celebrated October 7th. It was incredible. He loved it. Remember the report of the genital mutilation, the rapes, the murder, the torture that just came out today. And I'm going to play that video for you. Let's do it right now. This is the guy who is reportedly the head of CARE for DFW and Austin. He went out and spoke, and all he did was say that anybody that disagrees with him is racist. He says that his country was accepting of all people. It's a great country. That's Pakistan, where they have madrasas teaching kids to hate Jews and kill them. Pakistan that hid bin Laden for years after 9/11. Pakistan who burns in effigy American flags, Israeli flags, and supports terrorism. That's the country he's claiming is great. He attacks our country. He says that the Japanese internment camps, racism, and then all the people that disagree with allowing professional Muslim proselytizers to come into Wylie ISD and pass out Qurans in Wylie East High School, all those people are against it. Are Islamophobes, are racists, and haters. So here he is, and this is the whole MO in all this. And coming up in just a few minutes, you're going to hear from an article in the Star Telegram today, the Fort Worth Star Telegram today, And it's the same thing about Muslims are victims. Muslims are victims. They're all lamenting because of the water park event that was shut down, because of the Muslim-only city they were trying to build, or still are trying to build, Epic City. And because of all these different things, they're the victim. They're the victim. Same theme that you're going to hear from this guy right now, who spoke at Wylie ISD, calling all of us people that are against proselytizers passing out Qurans in schools, calling us all racist and hate-filled, and hating our country and saying how bad our country is and how great Pakistan is.
Lord, thank you for allowing me to come and speak here today. As a proud father of 3 amazing kids that go to the Wylie ISD school, I'm so happy to have them in the school that welcome them for being Muslim and practicing their faith. What I'm shocked by, though, is these so-called adults who are here, who've been saying the most radical, racist, extreme, negative, god-awful, un-Christian, un-American nonsense for the last 2 school board meetings.
Here's the guy that says, as I told you, here's the guy that says, according to Jessica's reporting, we need to break the hold of the Zionists. And here he is saying that we're racist, radical, un-Christian. Dude, I'm a Christian. And you're an Islamic guy with a Islamist foreign terror organization telling us that we're un-Christian.
Those girls should be absolutely ashamed of themselves for their racism and open bigotry. You know, when I was growing up, I learned that men were lynched in America. I learned that Japanese were put in internment camps. I learned that people were targeted for their race and religion. And I grew up in a country that welcomed everybody.
See, there you go. First of all, see, there you go. I grew up in a, there you go. He goes, lynchings and Japanese internment camp. America's bad, bad, bad. And then he says, I grew up in a country that welcomes everybody. Pakistan. He didn't say Pakistan because we all know they don't welcome everybody.
Fighting for their race and religion. And I grew up in a country that welcomed everybody. But now, thank God, after listening to those people here come again and again, I realize the type of logic, the type of brainwashing, the type of mental gymnastics that people have to go through in order to allow that type of racism and discrimination to happen. I see that happening here in Wylie, and I see that type of extreme racist bigotry and hatred being pushed by these radical people in our communities. I have some advice for these so-called adults and parents. Why don't you, instead of coming here and complaining, why don't you debate me? Why don't you actually have a real, open, public conversation and debate? And let's talk about Islam. Let's talk about Sharia. Let's talk about your radical hatred that you've been pushing in this school district.
This guy's just a low rent. He's a low rent, poor excuse for, and the guy just wants attention. He's an egomaniac and an Islamist.
In our community, I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked and horrified by the things that I've been hearing again and again. It is the worst type of racism that you can imagine. All you need to do is replace the word Islam and Muslim with blacks, Hispanics, Jews, Christians.
Replace the word Muslims with blacks, Hispanics, Jews, and Christians. There's Hispanic people whose parents are speaking out against the Islamization there. And it's just so funny. This is what CARE and Islamic folks that are pushing this version of Islam and such in our schools, this is what they would have you believe. You're bad, they're good. Sound familiar?
And anybody else, and the racism becomes absolutely obvious and obvious. This is the time that we're living in, and I'm honestly ashamed to hear that these people keep coming again and again. I invite you to come on and debate me if you want in a public forum to the people who have these problems, and I'm grateful for the Wylie ISD school. My kids feel welcome here. I'm so happy for that, and I hope that we can continue to welcome people of all faiths and backgrounds.
Well, so there you go. You see a guy who says that anybody who disagrees with him is a racist, homophobe, or Islamophobe, a bigot, hates black people, da-da-da. You know, that's what you are. And that he's very happy with how Wylie ISD is going. That should tell you everything. That guy is happy with everything Wylie ISD is doing should tell you everything. Well, I want to tell you this. I got a brand new company that that's on my roof, and they're replacing my roof very shortly, and that is Blue Ribbon Roofing. Blue Ribbon Roofing in Collin County in McKinney, voted best roofer in McKinney over and over and over again. They service throughout DFW, they service Austin, and they service other parts of Texas, and they are an incredible organization. That is right there. John Hopkins on the right, his wife Tish, And then you have John's son Trevor and his wife Jennifer. It is a family-owned business. They are top notch. They win over and over and over again awards, whether it be Angie's year after year, whether it be they're A+ rated Better Business Bureau. It's just everything at the top, which is why I chose to partner with Blue Ribbon Roofing, okay? Here is John Hopkins when he came over to my house over the weekend, and we were up on my roof, and guess what we found out? Yes, there's real roof
See
damage.
that white line?
Yeah, what is that?
That's the fiberglass mat underneath the shingle, meaning all the shingle's gone. Now you're down to the fiberglass mat.
I never would have recognized any of this or noticed
Well, of
it.
course you wouldn't. It'd be like you handing me your microphone. I don't know anything about it.
Do you want to do a show for me?
I don't know anything about it. I got to depend on you.
I think you want to. I guess I'll do the show then.
Yeah, you do the show, and I'll do the roofing.
There we are on my roof. Blue Ribbon Roofing. Use them all throughout the Metroplex. They were on my roof. They found a lot of damage, which I had no idea we had damage. And so guess what? They're going to be redoing my roofing. I've opened a claim. And I'm a USAA guy, and they do lots of USAA stuff, which makes me feel super, super comfortable. Go to blueribbondfw.com. That's blueribbondfw.com. In business since 1993, 32 years. It's absolutely amazing. All right. I want to get into this too. What do I got? What else do I have for you here? A couple other odds and ends. Dallas County Commissioner's Court hosted a full house of parents, pastors, and woke pastors and nonprofit leaders. They want to do child care. They want to do a child care tax on our backs if you live in Dallas County. $270 a year for that one, and another one they want to do for homelessness stuff. If you need child care, get it yourself. The programs are out there. Your job is to raise your child. That is your job, period. And I am not paying my tax dollars for somebody to watch their kid. There's programs out there to help you. If it's not enough, figure it out. We figured it out. It is your job to raise your child. What else do I have for you here? Oh, let's do this one. A lady who's getting so popular, she's on like Fox Business, Fox, and all sorts of outlets as a housing expert based out of Collin County. I think she might be based out of Plano or Frisco. She was commenting on 76,000 students suddenly vanishing this past year from Texas public schools. Do you know why? She says exactly what I would have told you, because we homeschooled my daughter and my son. He graduated college with honors, fluent Japanese. She is halfway through her college, has very good grades. Amy Nixon says this. This is not due to ICE or deportation. It's because more parents are choosing homeschooling or private school. 20% of the moms I've gotten to know in our neighborhood have once had their kids in our public schools, but now homeschool or do private for at least one child. Because we're sick of people brainwashing our child or allowing Islamic proselytizers to come into the schools, etc. All right, here's a good one. Highland Park, who voted to come out of, get out of DART, the mugger mover, the jail rail. Highland Park launches a new transit service following their DART exit. This is the first and only public transit entity in DFW that cannot be called the mugger mover or jail rail. So it's remarkable. Fort Worth launches a campaign against illegal gunfire, says Fox 4. What? Illegal gunfire? How you get that? Good luck with that campaign. Waymo Robotaxi runs a red light in Dallas. I'm not surprised. I told you that Waymo vehicles stopped the first responders from showing up at the terrorist attack in Austin on 6th Street from that radical Islamist naturalized citizen who never should have been allowed to come into our country. Here is the Waymo vehicle in Dallas blowing through a red light. Watch this. Look at this. See that right there? I'm going to go back. It's right there on the right. It's a red light, and there it is, just driving right through. Look at that. Gone, baby. Joining the flow of traffic when a red light. See if they got more on this. I think that's really kind of it. Let's go back, though. Here, go back. Waymo, right there on the right. Boop. Right there on the right. And it is sitting there. Drives right through a red light when everybody else is driving. There you go. Good job. Who wouldn't want a Waymo? In San Antonio, the Waymos are coming in school zones and driving the wrong direction, going right as children and parents are walking in front of the school to try to get in, and they're going right through them. Not flying, but they're going right through the intersection or through the school drop-off area the wrong way, and not stopping for kids and parents in San Antonio. I don't want any of this crap. Hell knows what I say. When will construction be complete on I-35, Interstate 35E? When will that be complete? Asked the Dallas Morning News. I have your answer. Never. If it was a Catholic church, it would be called Our Lady of Perpetual Construction. Blessed be her name. Let's see. Do I have any more audio for you? Yes. Tomorrow, Marco Hunter Lopez, the young student who exposed all the Islamic people passing out Qurans, hijabs, and Sharia pamphlets in Wylie East High School. Here is Chip Roy speaking today about Marco's appearance tomorrow in front of Capitol Hill. He's going to testify about the Islamic folks passing out Qurans in Wylie East High School.
Having a second hearing in a series that I'm holding, exposing what's going on with the March of Islam into America tomorrow in the House Judiciary Committee, in the subcommittee of the Constitution. Amy will testify. I'm going to have a young man, a 15-year-old, who is in high school, and he heads up the Republican group there, but he's been a whistleblower exposing how much they've been promoting the Quran, hijabs, pushing the culture of Islam into a small Texas town called Wylie, north of Dallas. It's insane. We've got to expose it. We've got to make sure we're clear that we're a Christian nation built on.
All right, so there's Chip Roy, and Marco will be tomorrow speaking to Congress. I'll be sharing that video with you tomorrow night on the show. What else did I want to share with you? Speaking of Wylie ISD, this is the hiding principal, Tiffany Doolan, the one I mentioned earlier, who needs to be fired when I confronted her about allowing Qurans and hijabs to be passed out in the school. Here's what she said and did. I'm just asking a question. This is a public building. I can ask questions. See that? They're hiding. They turn. They're hiding from me. Why are you hiding? You're a public principal, Miss Doolan. Miss Doolan, why are you hiding? Did you allow those people in to preach Islam to your students? This lady at the front there who was barking at me in the beginning, here, I'll go back to that. This lady who's barking at me, she's a school resource officer. She's retired, but now she does security, like part-time as a former school resource officer. She's barking at me as if I'm trying to do an interview with Elon Musk or something, like she's some celebrity. I'm just asking a question. See that? She's sitting there barking at me. This is a public building. I can ask questions. All right, now we'll jump back to over here. When they hid, then they came out. Preach Islam to your students? You loved World Hijab Day. Remember that? You said in all caps you loved it. Do you still love World Hijab Day? What are you afraid of? That's the woman who needs to be fired. And that's one of the many reasons why we still keep showing up and protesting. And I want to remind you again that we're going to be passing out Bibles instead of Qurans at Wylie East High School. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at 8 a.m. in front of Wylie East High School. There's your information. And one more video to share with you that is absolutely hysterical. Here is Mayor Karen Bass is now saying that she wants to pay for homeless people who are meth addicts. She wants to pay for free teeth for homeless people. I can't. This is amazing. Hold on. And then you can hear a little segment from Jesse Waters. This is so funny from tonight.
LA's even worse. Free breast implants aren't enough. You need a new set of pearly whites.
How many people who are unhoused that you meet have no teeth at all? They don't have teeth. Why? Because meth rots your teeth. You can't succeed without teeth. So there needs to be comprehensive health care provided to people.
Free cosmetic dentistry for homeless meth heads? And you can't give the money directly to the dentist. No. Karen's funneling the money through a nonprofit, obviously. It's called Homeless.
There's a point here that I got to jump to with Billy Bush, if I can see where he's at. There's an interview he does, and it is so ridiculous. I don't know if it's in this part. Okay, they don't have it in there. There's a part there with Billy Bush. They're laughing because they're trying to talk about the free boob jobs for illegals, free teeth for meth addicts. This is insane. It's California. And I think I have one more thing. Yes, this is great. You got to watch this. This is Chris Van Hollen, who had margaritas with the terrorist, trafficker, rapist, wife beater, Kilmar Abreu Garcia. Kilmar! the illegal MS-13 member, and this is Chris Van Hollen attacking Kash Patel and saying he's got a drinking problem. Watch this, though. Kash Patel smokes him like a cheap cigar. It's so fun.
Multiple reports, including reporting by The Atlantic, have alleged episodes of excessive drinking, unexplained absences, and behavior that concern current and former FBI and DOJ officials. You have publicly denied those allegations and filed a defamation lawsuit. So today, as you testify before Congress, is it your testimony that those allegations are categorically false?
Unequivocally, categorically false.
So there have been no occasions during your tenure when FBI personnel were unable to promptly reach you?
Absolutely not. You can ask my entire workforce. They hear from me at every single hour of the day, as do these great gentlemen here, as do the men and women of the interagency and state and local law enforcement and the White House.
And so there have been no occasions when your security detail had difficulty waking or locating you, is that right?
Nope, it's a total farce. I don't even know where you get this stuff, but it doesn't make it credible because you say so.
I'm not saying it, Director Patel. It's been written and documented.
You are literally saying it.
No, I'm saying that these are reports, Director Patel.
No,
and
unlike
I
your
will
baseless
say,
reports,
Director
the only person
Patel,
that was slinging margaritas in El Salvador on the taxpayer dollar with a convicted gangbanging rapist was you.
You know, the
only
fact
person that
of
ran up a
Director
$7,000 bar tab in Washington, D.C. at the
This
lobby
suggests
bar
to me-
was you.
this
the only individual
suggests
in
to
this
me
room
the
that has
allegations
been drinking
are
on
true.
taxpayer dime during
Are
the
you
day
polygraphing?
is you.
Director Patel.
You see that lady on the right-hand side of Chris Van Hollen, top right, in the green polka dot thing. She's almost laughing. I don't know how the people never laugh. I'd be crying and laughing in the background.
These are serious allegations that were made against you.
The
They're in a
allegations
lawsuit
are
that you
false.
filed.
You drinking margaritas with a gangbanger
Actually,
is true and on
it just
video.
goes to show you
Going a $7,000 bar tab at the lobby bar
Patel.
has been filed by your own
This
office.
goes to show-
drink during the day. That's
I love this. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. That's so worth it. I can play that all the time. Hey, don't forget to join us Tuesday, May 19th in front of Wylie East High School at 8 a.m. Passing out Bibles, not Qurans. And we're finally doing it. You can donate. It's all over my social media tonight to help buy Bibles. We're buying a ton of them. We're going to be passing them out to the kids. Join us for a peaceful, fun time, passing out Bibles to the students as they're heading into school. Not Qurans. We are righting the wrong. You've asked for it. Now we got it for you. There it is. There's the information. More details as on my social media feed channels. This show has been brought to you by IRSPROB.com, IRSProb.com, helping good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies.